Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Y'all, it's Leo season. I'm feeling inspired. So inspired that I made a course for you all. And I've talked about this in one of my latest videos. It's the masterclass workshop to help you maximize this time, to do you boo, to up level. You'll learn so much. And it's also a workshop. I'm not just giving you information. I'm giving you some stuff to do in here so you can create your own guide. So just look in the description box of this video. $7 valued at $25 to $30. Come on, y'all. It's so much. So you can just look at my other videos and see that I've talked about that already. And I had told you all that were on the live stream with me, the last live stream where I was talking about my masterclass, that I wanted to come on and do a sharing that came to me, and you all are getting it. I just will use the word stream of consciousness. It's sort of like stream of consciousness, second round of stream of consciousness. But I just don't want to forget it. I want to just share this because it was just so like, wow for me, First and foremost, let me also say before I begin, Leslie's back. Hey, Jamie. I'm glad you're hanging out with me today, Leslie. So have you heard of the book called The Four Agreements? What is it? Ruiz or something like that is the last name. I'm listening to it on Audible, actually. And I think it's Don Miguel. Let me see. Yeah, Don Miguel Ruiz. And, I've heard about this book for years, but didn't read it. Though I looked at, I saw the Four Agreements, haven't really read it, so I haven't lived my life by it. I just thought, ooh, that sounds like on point. And recently I was listening to a podcast and someone brought up these Four Agreements. And it just hit me. It's Leo season. I was like, I'm gonna, check this book out. So I decided I'll download it on Audible. And if you know the Four Agreements, is anyone who's here know the Four Agreements? Yes. The Four Agreements, Don, D-O-N, Miguel, M-I-G-U-E-L, Ruiz, R-U-I-Z. The Four Agreements. Okay. So the first agreement is, be impeccable with your word. That probably was the agreement that he spent the most time on. And when you hear that, we automatically know what that means. Be impeccable with your word. Now, just to backtrack it a little bit, before he talks about the Four Agreements, he starts basically giving what I would call a Haru lecture, because what he talks about is how programmed we are. I heard one preacher call it one time, "Who tamed you?" It's all about being tamed. It's all about being programmed to be a certain way. This is what happens in the human experience. And then we have to get to Leo season 2019 to try to undo all of this, because all of this programming, all of this conditioning, all of this taming has us being something other than who and what we are. Some of it has enhanced it. Don't get me wrong. It's not like the world gets everything totally wrong with us, but the way we are indoctrinated, from childhood on up, is extensive. It's very extensive. And so, like the first part of our lives, we are totally indoctrinated and conditioned. And so then we have to live the rest of our lives trying to get all of this out. For those of us that are waking up and saying, I need to live my life for me. I need to be who and what I am. And sometimes you're in a place that supports that. And sometimes people are looking at you like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing that? Okay, so that's how it starts. And essentially, what we're saying when all of this is happening is we are agreeing to it. Okay. This is basically what life is about. It's about what we've agreed to. And so what we've agreed to, we can unagree with if we want to. That's the thing that really and truly started hitting me up today. It is, Jamie. It is. It is until you find, okay, what she said is it's a tough journey coming into the truth, trying to figure out what truth is for self. And that's one of the things I love about these 4 agreements. I'm like, first of all, they're powerful, they will work. But when you live by these 4 agreements, or when you find that framework that you can live within, so for instance, within the Ifa Orisha tradition, what we talk about quite a bit is having good character. And a very easy way to understand good character is doing the right thing at the right time in the right way when nobody is looking. It's all about having good character. It, sometimes when people talk about Ifa, they're like, well, what is that religion about? Some people call it the Yoruba religion. I prefer to say Ifa because Yoruba is the culture. And sometimes when you meet people from the Yoruba culture, they don't like this religion. Okay. And I don't knock them for that. But that's what has made me say Ifa. All right. But you'll hear it as the Yoruba religion. I say Ifa. The Orisha tradition is another thing that I say. Anywho, you'll hear us talking about you need to have good character. And so when people are like, what is this religion about? Good character and destiny. Good character and destiny. So do you have good character? And are you living in alignment with your destiny? So I'm trying to make a point to Jamie that once you decide I'm going to have good character and I'm going to live my destiny, it's like be damn the world after that. It's just be damn the world because this is what I'm going to do. And I will not be removed, as some old lady said one time. So it's all about agreements. The 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Next one. Take nothing personally. The next one is, let me see, be impeccable with your word. Take nothing personally. The third one is, I just started listening to this book. I might have to pull them up. And then the last one is do your best. The 4 agreements. This is what he's asking us to agree to live by these 4 agreements. Here they are. What are the 4? Oh, don't make assumptions. So sometimes when I can't remember what something is, and I should know this list, then I'm like, okay, that's the one I need to be I need to be working on right now because apparently I'm lacking. So be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. Okay. Can you imagine living that way? Can you really imagine? Be impeccable with your word. And like I was telling y'all, he really hit that one hard. Be impeccable with who's going to live a fake life and be something other than who and what they are, and be impeccable with their word. You can't do it. You can't do it. So that's when I started reading this book. I was like, wow, I really like this. So today, as I was driving in and I was just thinking about, like, we're in the waning moon phase right now. The waning moon phase is about letting go of things. And I asked myself, what am I letting go of? Like, oh my gosh, have I really been working with this phase of the moon? Am I letting go of something? And I thought, yes, I'm letting go of some of the agreements that I have made, from childhood things to, any agreements that I recently set up where I'm like, this ain't working for me. It doesn't allow me to be impeccable with my word, to do my best, to, stay assumption free, and to not take things personally, Let me see here. They are. And it's almost like your word is almost like it's like all you really have sometimes, that word, because if your word is strong and you're living by that word, then you can be trusted. People will be like, okay, well, you know what? You just keep coming through. So I'm going to go on ahead and invest in you. When nobody else would invest in you, you might find that one person who will invest in you because you have been tried and true in your word. When you become a liar, that's people are like, I can't trust you. I don't know you. So I'm not gonna invest in you, you know? So exactly. Okay, Leslie, take some notes, baby. Take some notes. Okay, so I started saying, okay, what am I releasing in this particular moon phase? I'm releasing agreements that I've set up. Now, I've mentioned this in previous videos where, or maybe I haven't, I don't know. But when I was a girl, and this is so perfect for Leo season, y'all. This is so perfect for Leo season. When I was a girl, I was that girl that parents were like, I want my child to be like you. Somebody liked me so much, she named her daughter after me. I was 17. This woman said, you know what? I like you. I'm going to name my unborn child after you. Someone's named after me because the mama liked me, right? But what ended up happening, especially in that tween time, like 10, 11, my God, I had so many haters. Oh my God, to be a good girl or to be, someone that's like, I'm gonna follow the rules. I do well in school. And I just lived excellently, and I say that humbly. I did. I strive for excellence. I didn't want to be the best at any cost, but I always wanted to just do well. It's in me, right? And so I would have so many girls that just hated on me. And I just got tired of it. And I just said, you know what? At 10 or 11, I'll never forget it. I said, you know what? I just want to be average because it's easier. I don't want to excel too much. I don't want to stand out too much. None of that. So this is the agreement I'm making with myself. I made that agreement with myself. And do you know? Oh my gosh. It was only in the last like 5 or 6 years. I'm like, I've got to end this agreement. This thing is in tight. This thing is in tight. And most people will look at my life and say, girl, you've achieved some things. And I have, but I could be so much more further down the road. But I look at my life and I look at just my approach to life at times. And I'm like, you know what? I've been mediocre. I should be so much further down the road than what I am. I'm not beating myself up, but I did realize that I made this agreement with myself. Just an example. So I said, yeah, I'm letting these agreements. And what started hitting me is this energy of Libra. I said, Libra is about agreements. If you think about Libra, people are like, oh, Libras, they get along with everybody and they can't make up their mind, right? But Libra is really an energy that's about balance. And it's about agreements. It's about legal affairs. Like when you look at the 7th house also, in your chart, you have a 7th house. And your 7th house is about agreements. It's about relationships. It's about legal affairs. Okay. And sort of like how that will play out for you. Or if there's a transit going on, like, is this going to play out in your favor or is it not going to play out in your favor? So I started thinking to myself, oh, this Libra energy, we need to really work with this Libra energy about understanding what have we agreed to. And like I said, Libra is about balance. And so you need to ask yourself, this is what I say to myself, and I'm sharing it with you. What have you agreed to? You need to look at what you've agreed to. What does balance, Libra signify also balance. It is what you've agreed to bringing balance in your life or not? Because your agreement should bring balance. This is revolutionary in my mind. That the agreements that I'm making should bring balance. I am thinking about how people talking about, they have these spiritual teachers that they're working with, And these spiritual teachers are bringing imbalance, not balance, right? But now you know, because this was like some wisdom that came from up on high. So now it's yours. You need to look at all the relationships with the people in your life, because that's what Libra is about. It's all about relationships. You need to look at all the relationships in your life. I'm not even just talking about relationships with other people. I'm talking about relationships with stuff. I'm talking about relationships with attitudes, with ways of thinking, with everything. Look at your relationship and ask yourself, this agreement, because that's what this relationship is. When that's what a relationship is, it's an agreement. This agreement, is it bringing me balance or imbalance? And if it's bringing imbalance, it's got to go. It's got to go. The other thing I started thinking about too is how this energy of Libra is ruled by Venus, which is the same energy as Oshun. And Oshun is about flexibility. And she's about, Oshun is a shapeshifter. And so these are the things that we need to be thinking about. Like, the goddess way is one that is all about the cycles. And we have to think about like this Libra energy. It's about contracts, right? Contracts are typically not open-ended, like, okay, well, it's just, we're going to go on forever. No. Contracts should be looked at every now and again to decide, do we want to keep this contract? Do we still agree to this contract, or do we need to make some updates to this contract? So, it behooves us to take time to look at the contracts that we have with these people, and to say, okay, let me see here. Let me see, is this contract working for me? Like, are all the specifications of this contract still like bringing me balance? Contracts should be keeping you safe. Contracts should be keeping you benefiting, to ching ching, Venus, Libra, Oshun, cha-ching ching. We should be profiting from our agreements or our contracts, all right? Or being protected. A contract will protect you from someone suing you or whatever, however you want to look at it. But we just got these contracts, these agreements, they're just going on and on and on. And we're getting more and more dysfunctional. We're getting more and more out of balance. The only way to really, deal with being out of balance is you've got to go get some bad habit. You've got to find a way to stay in that contract, even though this thing is not bringing me balance. This is not bringing me protection. This thing is not benefiting me. I'm not profiting from this agreement. And so I encourage you all to make new agreements. Be like Oshun. Be flexible. Her object is the mirror. Be willing to look in the mirror and say, oh, okay, I see what I need to change, and I'm willing to really see this thing. And if you can't see it, because sometimes there really is a blind spot, look at your life. If your life is what you want it to be, even if you don't know why is my life like this? You can just look and know this is not right. So then you have to ask yourself, what have I agreed to? Have I agreed to what mama believed and daddy believed and what my teachers believed and what the society believed? Is this what I have agreed to? And am I willing to write a new contract? And when we write this new contract, it's new ways of being. The old contract is out. Don't go get that old contract and be like, well, you know what? I'm going to merge the two and like live according to both. No, it's either or. Okay. Typically there's one contract in effect. So we don't need to be going to get the old contract. The old contract is old because guess what? It's obsolete. So you need to ask yourself, what have you agreed to? What are the agreements in your life? And perhaps you need to agree to. Let me just read it so I don't mess it up. Be impeccable with your word. Are you, and if I'm being 100, that was something I really had to work on. I've always been a person that's been about the truth and being honest and everything, but there were times when I said yes and I meant no. There were times when someone asked, "What do you think?" And I didn't give them my full opinion because I was like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt them." See, it ain't all the time about malicious lying. Sometimes it's about I'm being nice, so I don't know, you know. Um, Here's another agreement: break up with the old and step into don't take anything personally. Now that one is liberating, I tell you. That one for me is like one of the biggest ones that I'm like, whoo, I feel like just getting upset about something. And then I say, you know what? And it's only been maybe a week that I've been to this book. As soon as I say, don't take anything personal, I'm like, wow, that just completely took something off of me. Because typically, well, what he says is, it ain't about you. Somebody could walk up to you and call you the name that you are like, I'm going to go to blows over this name. They can walk up to you and call you that name, and you don't have to take it personally because it's about that person, you know? Don't take anything personally. When we are called to that Ogun Herakuti fight, we will know because it will be for the justice, it will be for the right thing, it will be divinely led by, and it'll be guided by wisdom, okay? So I'm not saying we just cower down and we don't have fight in us, but typically, you know, these people are trying to spew hate and negativity on you because they know it's going to make you slip, trip, and fall. They doing everything to make you try to just fall and not move forward. And they want you to be happy. I mean, miserable. They don't want you to be happy. That is the point. So if you don't take it personally, they have no power over you. Okay. We give our power away when we're taking all this stuff personally. I'm just telling y'all, this is what I'm working on. So I don't have it down, but I understand it. Don't make assumptions. How many times it's like, why they do that? I bet it was because of. We don't know. Don't make assumptions. If you're impeccable with your words, you don't mind going up to somebody being like, you know what? I want to ask you about this. And a lot of times when I don't make assumptions, either I find out, I just let it go out my mind. Someone will come and tell me and explain it. I'm like, oh, that explains everything. Okay. I understand now. Or you go to the person, you're like, hey, I saw this. This is what I'm thinking. What do you mean by this? And the person's like, oh, I was just like sleepy and tired. I didn't even notice I did it. I'm sorry. You're like, ooh, I could have assumed that the person was trying to be whatever negative kind of way I thought it was, you know? So don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. That will really free you up because you're not sitting around trying to figure things out. Either you're going to ask or you're just going to be like, well, whatever, you know? We need to operate from a place of knowingness and always do your best. That was the last one. And he said, always do your best basically stems from applying all of the rest. It's like what ties the other three together. And I, interestingly, I remember 2008, because I wrote it down and it's on my bathroom mirror. I said, I just want to do my best. Because if I'm trying to be what the world says I'm supposed to be in the way the world says I'm supposed to be it's impossible. But if I know I'm always freaking doing my best, I'm not sleeping. And you can tell when you're sleeping. You know when you're not doing all that you could be doing in your life. And it's not all the time about being busy. It's about being excellent. And he even said the best shifts from day to day are, moment to moment. In the morning, my best is higher than perhaps my best at night. For some people, it might be reversed. I'm a morning person. I do better earlier in the day than I do at night. But still at my most sleepy, I will give my best. I've taught exhausted. I had adrenal fatigue. I would be completely and totally miserable. And people would say, couldn't tell by the way you taught your class, you tired. I'm like, y'all have no idea the level of exhaustion that I feel. You have no idea. But I was going to go in there and I was going to give my best. But now that I'm better and I'm energetic, It's a whole different ball of wax. My best is different, you know? But I still can give my best from both places. And that's the beauty of it. Your best is wherever you are in that moment. We got a Libra. We got a Libra. We got a Libra. We got a Libra. Let's see here. Our word should be our bond. Self-sabotage. That's a Haru Shango, and I think I made a video the other day about self-sabotage. Like, self-sabotage keeps us in those agreements. And at the end of the day, something that I think people need to just fess up is that they prefer to be stuck in their stumble. If you would just say it, I don't want to move from where I am. I'm comfortable where I am. I don't want to move from where I am. That puts you in a place of power. You're in a power position at that point, because at least you're admitting, I know I need to make a change, but I don't want to. I am okay with this. How many times have you met somebody who has like a cigarette addiction or an alcohol addiction, and they'll say, I know I'm addicted. I know I have a problem, but I'm not willing to change. And let's move on, y'all. They move on. I'm not mad at that person, because it puts you in that place to be able to move forward. That self-sabotage, if you're like, oh, I want to get out of this, but you really don't want to. You don't want to do what it takes to get out of it. You're comfortable with it. You've had it for so long that it's like you're afraid of what being free of it actually means, because it's the unknown. And we say, oh, I want to get rid of it. But then we're doing all these things to keep us there because we really don't want to be a part of it. Next thing you know, you're in victimhood. So it's a double whammy. You're self-sabotaging, and then you descend into victimhood. Just make the agreement. I am making an agreement to do something I know is not good for me. If I get to this place where I want to leave it, I will. That puts you in a power position. So very good point, Leslie. Jamie's a Libra. I love Libras. So I know we all have made some agreements, be them subconsciously. How do we end them? Hello, natural heaven. So for me, it's about having the spiritual practices. And the first key to self-mastery is awareness. We literally have to be aware of our lives. We have to pay attention to ourselves. We have to observe ourselves. In an agreement that you first and foremost, just acknowledge, I know I've made some agreements. And you'll start looking at it like you can see it contrasted against other people. For some people, family is everything. They're always going to their families, like the mama and daddy's house. The family's getting together at mom and daddy's house, and everyone's there. Well, if your family isn't like that, that's going to be a contrast for you. And you can ask yourself, okay, really, do I want to agree to have a family that doesn't really get together, or do I want a different agreement? Because maybe you don't like that your family doesn't get together, and maybe you try to get your family together and they don't want to, and then you just have to go find some other, make some people your family and hang out with them, start a new tradition in your family. I remember one day, Jamie, early on in my, like when I was really starting on this phase of my spiritual path, it was something real simple. And I don't even really know how this came up, but I was at the YMCA one day, and all I did was see this white man. He was an old white man in the swimming pool. And in that moment, I don't know what the thought was that led me to this, but I had this awakening that let me realize, I see the world in a particular manner. It was as if my head was here. And then when I had the awakening, it was like my head popped out, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I thought that. Like, I didn't hear it, nothing. It was just what I thought and saw. And it's like, it was some thought about, like, I don't know what this white man made me think of, but I guess I've been out of it. So it had something to do with why he and I were there during that time of the day, and other, like maybe a black man wasn't there and it was like early in the morning, wasn't there at the same time. I don't know. Like white people live this schedule, black people live that schedule, and I'm on a white person schedule, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. It was like a whole different, like being a stay-at-home mom, like really put me in a different place, because I'm like, I'm not used to this. And like I don't even know what to do with this thing. I don't know what it means to be a stay-at-home mom and to just be out just free like this. It was something in that vein. Didn't even know I was thinking that until my head popped out. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know I thought this. And I just came on out, it was like, oh, I could just literally feel the energy open up so I could pop my head out and be like, oh, so there you'll see the agreements, because if you are doing your spiritual practices, and let me know what those are. If you're doing your spiritual practices, then you will some kind of way that your Ori, it knows, okay, first level of awakening needs to be this, next level of awakening needs to be this. We need to get rid of this belief or that belief, this thought, that thought. And it might come up with, you're trying to get somewhere, you're trying to do something, you're trying to achieve something, and you're like, why can't I do this? And your Ori will be like, let's work on it. And it'll be some thought, it'll be some belief that you have, and you'll start seeing it everywhere. And you're like, okay, breaking up, ending that agreement, starting a new one. So I hope that helps. Yes, very good, Leslie. You realize that you've been doing this. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I like that. I'm not sure if it's what I've been talking about, but okay, let me go back to this comment. So yes, Jamie, just email me at goddess, and then the word GURU at gmail.com. And Leslie, do you use Cash App or Venmo? I guess I could put it there too, because I forgot some people don't like PayPal. I was just like, I got to use something. So I used I'll send out. But let me know if you use Cash App or Venmo, because I can send you that information. My Cash App is $Tyra, TIRRA, Hargrove, HARGROW. Okay. So Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. That's all I have right now. Let me see here. What else? Oh, what are my thoughts on manifesting? What's your question about that, Leslie? Because that's a huge topic. I can tell you this to tie it into this particular discussion. What you manifest is based on what you have agreed to. Because if you have not agreed to, you deserve to manifest whatever it is you want to manifest. You will not manifest it. Yes. Okay. So yeah, I hope that has been insightful for you all. It's my way, like just talking to you all. I almost was like, do I remember what I thought? Because it was like 3 hours ago. Yes. Woo! Thank you, Jamie. I appreciate you. But yeah, this is how I sit around and I ponder and I chew on what comes to me. One of the things, because I do have an inner circle, so if you want to work with me in my inner circle, that's at Patreon, patreon.com/goddess body mind spirit. And I tell the ladies in the spiritual coaching, y'all tell me what book you're reading. We should all be reading something or listening to some sort of guru. And it gives us something to chew on. Like I believe in starting the day out with spiritual practices. which is listening to something like the Four Agreements or reading the Four Agreements, if that's what you want to do. And it gives us something to chew on. So in the inner circle, with the levels where I shared the readings, as I see it, if once you get the reading, you're able to listen to it and you wrap your consciousness around it, and your consciousness becomes one with the wisdom. And the next thing you know, you're like, I've got it. Or I see the wisdom as medicine. So, sometimes we don't even know we're sick. Like that sickness, that thought, all of that is so, it's like stealth. It's in stealth mode. And when we take in the wisdom and it takes on the form of medicine, the next thing you know, you will get a healing from that wisdom. Just like me with these Four Agreements, it's giving me so much peace. Oh my God. I'm looking at a comment. I had a cig addiction for many years. During a candle moon ritual and affirmations, I decided to tell myself, you just deserve to be free of the burden. And I wrote it too and focused on it. Now I am. I'm so happy for you, Natural Heaven. Oh my gosh. That is such a powerful testimony of how we do our spiritual work. And you decided you were making a new agreement. You ended the agreement with the cigarette addiction. You started a new agreement. And now you're free. And you've got to be happier. You got more money in your pocket. You don't have to be worried about, okay, like, where can I go and smoke? Or, do you smell smoky? Because I knew some people who couldn't even tell they smoke because they had to do all this stuff to make themselves smell good. You don't have to worry about your health. You're so free. So, hey, Tamaya. What? Girl, we in sync, Tamaya. Yes, I am so happy for you, Natural Heaven. I mean, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations. And you said, how long ago was this? How long has it been since you did this ritual? Hey, Carla. Oh my gosh, this is recently. Everybody, come on, y'all, give it up for Natural Heaven. Woo! I wish I had a little sound system to make it, so I'll just make it live. Woo! Yeah, we're celebrating good times. Celebrate, 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 celebrate. Natural Heaven. Hey, hey, hey. Woo, woo, woo. Freedom, freedom, freedom. Natural Heaven. Yay! I am so, yes, y'all, give it up for Natural Heaven. I am so happy for you. Hey, Natural Heaven, are you a part of the Orisha tradition? Because I want to tell y'all something. Do you work with Shango any? Is really what I want to know. Is this my son? I'm on live. You gonna come in? No, I'm saying I'm going on a walk. Oh, okay. He's going on his walk, y'all. Say bye to Kamau. Woo! Let me see here, Natural Heaven. Because Leslie, are you saying you smoke cigarettes? Because I want to tell y'all something that I found fascinating about these Orisha. All right. Didn't I say I was getting off? Y'all got me on here. Okay, so yes. Okay, so Shango, the energy of Shango, it is known to be related to this cigar. It might be other Orisha that are related to the cigars. I don't know. But I have seen people who initiate into Shango be cigarette smokers and coffee drinkers. Nice. Okay, you're doing some deep work. Okay. So I have begun to realize, and this is what self-realization is about and why it's so important. We really and truly do embody these Orisha, and it's like your predominant Orisha. So like for me, my predominant Orisha is Yemonja. And I was told initially, Oshun, what I'm about to say matches. Oh my goodness. I have had to deal with a sugar addiction. Y'all, people talk about being addicted to sugar. It's for real. Because this sugar addiction, it'll ruin your life. It'll ruin your teeth. It'll make you gain weight, get metabolic, disorders and all that kind of good stuff, such as diabetes. Because it just throws off the hormones so much. It messes up our insulin. This is really what diabetes is about. It's our bodies, our hormonal systems are just off. And what do Yemanja and Oshun represent? They are all about the sweets. The sweets. My moon is in Taurus. Tauruses, we got to watch out for that sweet tooth, right? Because that sweet tooth will take us down. And so, but the beauty of the addiction, this is what I've come to realize. The beauty of the addiction is sometimes it's a part of the journey to get us to that next phase. Like we can't stay stuck in the addiction our whole lives, but if we can see it as a spiritual process and don't judge ourselves for it, we can understand maybe what I need to do is engage this energy in a different manner, because my male Orisha is Shango. And while I've never been a smoker or even close to it, I tell folks I'm gonna have my cup of Shango. Everybody's talking about, oh, drinking coffee is bad for you. Well, not everybody, because some people say coffee actually has great benefits. Am I one that's trying to drink coffee all day, every day? I'm not trying to be addicted to coffee. I'm just saying one of the ways I connect to Shango is through coffee. And so perhaps cigarette smokers are needing to develop a different relationship with their inner Shango. That's my point. Shango is about being a leader. Shango is about being a strategist, charismatic. It's related to Leo, the season that I've been talking about greatly. Shining, being who and what you are. And it's a lot of energy. It's very hot, fiery, masculine energy. And maybe, one of the ways you can move past it is to engage these other energies related to Shango, So that's just something that I found. It's like, wow, I have two friends that initiated in Shango. They both smoking cigarettes on the way up and on the way back. I'm like, oh my God, these people are Shango for real. I have no question they were supposed to initiate into Shango. That cigarette smoking for Shango people is for real. Jamie, you said, does one have to be initiated to work with the Orisha? And you are the Orisha. Now, do you want to work within the Ifa tradition? Then I say, why not initiate? And what does initiate mean? You can be Aborisha, which means that you get your lekes. You might even go on ahead and get, some warriors and your hand to Ifa. It's not necessarily about being a priest or a priestess. But I feel if people want to work with the Orisha in that capacity, from that position, just initiate. But you have to know and understand that the Orisha are forces of nature. And, you can say Yemonja, or you can say the ocean. You can say Oshun, or you can say the river. So you do not need to be initiated into the Ifa Orisha tradition in order to connect with the ocean or the river, or Oya has to do with the wind. You can connect with Oya however you want to, and make understand what does it mean to connect with the wind on the spiritual level. But and when people are Ifa or Orisha practitioners, you're in this tradition, but you're not a priest or priestess. You're called Aborisha, Aborisha. And you might have your lekes, and you might go and listen to the priest and priestess, be a part of a community of some sort, but it doesn't have to be super deep for you to be a part of this tradition. Yeah, Yemayan Ogun. A lot of us, we know. Oh, wow, Jamie. Yay! Y'all give it up for Jamie. 3 years clean. Woo, Jamie. You do that. You do that, Jamie. Mwah! I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you. Y'all, some Sean Go stuff going on, which if you, yes, I'm playing my course because this course is amazing. If you buy this course, I talk about Haru Shango in this course. But the energy of Leo is Haru Shango. And I do relate this energy to addiction. If you go look back at some of my videos, if you see one that's about, I might try to bring it up and share it on my community tab. So look for it. I'm going to see if I can find it. But I talked about this addiction. It's so related to Haru Shango. This energy really and truly has a propensity for it because it's so vivacious. You know, it's like so much energy and it wants to experience things. And so I always related this energy to addiction, but we know that addiction is about something underlying. And, you know, I've made so many videos. I don't remember which one I said it in. Oh, it was in this one when I talked about conditionings. That's Haru Shango. And so, and he even talked about this, and I thought the Don Miguel Ruiz of the Four Agreements. And I remember thinking, wow, this is exactly what I have concluded. That if you are A and the world says that you are B, and you start, that those two identities start bumping up against each other, you're doing everything in your power to be B, but you're really A, trust me, B might make you fall into an addiction. Okay. But of course, our old past, our wounds, our hurts, those can help us fall into an addiction because it made us step outside of, we said we're A, it made us step outside of A, you know? And so the more we move to A, the more we move to the truth of who and what we are, which is what Leo's all about, y'all. You don't have time for no addiction because you so high on your gifts. You high on you. You know, we think so lowly of ourselves. Leo says, not today. You ain't gonna be thinking lowly of yourself. This is one of the reasons I love Leos. And I know not every Leo is confident. That's a Leo that we need to really help step into their confidence. But Leos are typically pretty confident. They don't really care what anybody thinks about them. I think Aries is to a certain degree the same way. They are showing us how to be. Be you, do you. And you don't have time for addiction because you're too busy working on your goals, using your gifts. Your gifts make you feel like you're higher than a kite. So, and I say this from the place of having a sugar addiction that I'm still trying to come back with. That sugar addiction was about to descend me into the world of diabetes. There is no question in my mind. Diabetics are really and truly very similar to what is described as a drug addict or alcoholic. Their drug is food, right? And so now that I'm like, okay, y'all, I'm A. I'm not going to be B. I don't have time to be B. I don't know when I'm going to die. I've got to get this thing done. I'm going to be A. Now that I'm doing A, guess what? Woo. After I finish my Leo course, I'm going to tell y'all, I didn't even know what I was going to put in this course. I just knew I wanted to do it, right? And I just kept trying to think about it. What am I going to put in it? What am I going to put in it? And I said, just sit down and start typing Tarot Milade. Just start typing. Start typing. And it comes out. It comes out. And day before yesterday, I did a reading to ask the Oracle, like, is this it? Is this a good version? Is it okay for me to go on ahead and, you know, put it in my coaching cipher as well as to release it to the public for sale? And the reading was just like so positive. And I was just sitting on my mat like, I can't believe this. I'm so happy. Sugar made me feel this happy ever. No, another addiction I have is emotional addiction. No emotion, you know, all that negative emotional addiction that I had, it has never made me feel this happy. I feel so good about myself. I feel so confident about myself. And I'm talking about me to illustrate when we decide I'm A, The rest of it I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to do A. There is only time for doing you and doing you boldly. Now, we might have to take a few baby steps. But isn't it better to take baby steps towards being who you really are than to just say, you know what, I'm just going to play it safe, or I'll wait for the right time to be me. And then it never happens. Isn't it better just to take one little baby step to being who and what you are? Yeah, Jamie. What confuses me is that I've seen it said that one has to petition Papa Legba to work with any other Orisha. Is that so? So, one of the things y'all will find out about me is I just roll differently. Okay? Now, I believe in the tradition in its, purest form. I believe in the tradition. But because I am one who I'm mutable, and what mutable means is, I'm flexible in the way that I do this thing. And I'm also very organic. I ain't had a whole lot of teaching. I haven't had a lot of conditioning. So I don't know if I really operate that way, But if you watch what I put out typically, you will learn, especially if you go look back. I believe in working with the Ori more than anything. The ancestors, the Ori. That's the most liberating thing you can do. Because if you're to work with an Orisha, be it Eshu Alegua or whoever, your Ori is going to make sure that that happens. So let's talk about, you want to work with Yemanjah. The tradition says you got to go through Papa Legba. So it's like, what does that actually mean? Okay, so you ain't initiated. How you going to work with Papa Legba when you ain't got one, right? So then we flip the script to astrology. Okay, I need to work with Yemanjah. And so I'm going to work with the energy of Cancer. I'm going to work with the energy of Pisces in my chart. This is how I access Yemanjah. Cancer, Pisces in my chart. Wait for Cancerian season. Access to Yemanjah. Wait for the moon to go into Cancer. Work with Yemanjah. Go out to the ocean. Work with Yemanjah. So, that's why I said to a certain degree, we've got to know. Do y'all all live in the United States? Am I just talking to USA people? Because when the tradition left Africa and came over here with the Africans, who were captives and enslaved over here, in not just in the United States, but down in South America and the Caribbean, it changed. We are not Yoruba. Some of us might be Yoruba because a large amount of people from the Yoruba culture was sold into slavery and, taken over as captives. But I mean, I don't know if I have Yoruba blood. And I'm not from Africa. And so this is a tradition that was started in a place that thousands and thousands of years ago that, I'm in the United States. I don't even speak Yoruba. I have to look at interpretations all the time. And so the way Ifa is going to work out for us over here is based on our experience. And so if you look at Santeria, if you look at Candomblé, Lukumi, those traditions, to a certain degree, they don't even sometimes act like they connected. Some people, not all of them, they don't even act like they're connected to Ifa. For them, their religion is unto itself. Even though I know they have to know it comes from these people, it has come and taken on that culture. You see, the people that speak Spanish, and the way that they talk, some of it is in Spanish. It's not even in Yoruba. It has become so much of who and what they are. And it's the same for us. We here in the United States. Okay. Yes. So we here in the United States don't even have an experience like the ones in South America. We are creating a relationship with Ifa that's based on us. All things decent and in order. Do I believe people should just go get some leggings and put it on their neck and self-initiate? No. My thing is make the commitment, step on the path. That's one of the things that I'm asking you all to do in this course. Because Leo is faithful, is loyal. Okay. And so we need to just go on ahead. My thing is, this is just where I stand. Yes, it's nice to know about Ifa and all that kind of good stuff. I think it's beautiful that so many people are interested in Ifa and want to learn more about it. I don't knock that at all. And if people want to stay on the outside and admire it and learn about it and in some ways incorporate it, I'm good with that. Because my thing is many paths, one truth. Everybody don't have to do what I do. All right. Ifa is not even about going out and trying to bring people in. No, my thing is you should hear the call. But if you want to work this tradition, why not? And I'm not recruiting, because you can ask anybody that knows me. I'm not trying to be doing a whole bunch of taking people in that way. I'm a coach, join my cipher. You right? But so this ain't me trying to recruit or get anybody to come on board with me. I'm just saying, if you want to work this tradition, if you're interested in it, where you're really wanting to learn the practices, then it's best to just go on ahead and find the right teacher for you. I don't even really like the godparents thing. Like, I have my godparents, but as an Orisha priestess, I'm like, I do not want to be a godmother. I'm a coach. But find the right godparents, find the right priest or priestess for you. And it takes a little while to get to know which one is for you and which one isn't for you. And just step firmly on the path, knowing that more than likely your path is not going to be clear cut with this Ifa tradition over here. If it's too rigid, if they're trying to make you be too much like Africa, for me, maybe some people need that. But if you look up Baba Obafemi of the OID, D as in David, OIDSI, S as in Sam, he will say that those Odu, the wisdom scripture or text in the Ifa wisdom corpus, we are creating meaning for the Odu here in the United States through our own lives. Our lives are sharing what the Odu speaks and says, because we are in the West. We can't live a religion. This is part of the reason all these old religions are creating so many problems. They're stuck and everyone's trying to do it the way it's always been done. We're new and modern day people, and we have to update things. So if you want to work with an Orisha, I just say work with the Orisha. Anyone that watches this video and you're an Ifa and you disagree, we're just going to agree to disagree, But I'm not telling anybody to work this religion without being initiated, because I just think you should just, if you're going to do it, initiate, get up, commit. If you want to work with the Orisha, you are free to, because the Orisha are here for everybody. You do not have to initiate. But if you're going to be calling them Orisha and you're trying to work within the framework of Ifa, you may as well just initiate. I hope that makes sense, because I feel like I'm repeating myself too much. Okay. You want to go to South Carolina? You want to move to the coast? Natural Heaven? We are. Natural Heaven. 100. I remember one time one of my priestess sisters was saying, we are indigenous to this land. At this point, we are indigenous. And I love that. We are the Aborigines of America. I've never heard anybody say that. I love that. Whew, okay, y'all. We've been on an hour. I'm going to get off because I need to do this weekly reading for my my cipher. They need some wisdom for next week. I have next week, but anywho, I'm gonna get off. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. Please, as I think it was Jamie said, like the video, share the video, subscribe, and you can look in the link, excuse me, in the description box for the link to buy my new course, my very first one that I'm ever releasing to the public. I actually have created several, but it's just in my coaching cipher. But this is the first one I'm releasing to the public because I think it's so important to get together during this Leo season. $7. You'll see a link in the description box. And if you need a reading, you can go to goddessbodymindspirit.com and go to the spiritual readings page. That's where you can request a reading. I would love to divine on your behalf. The kind of readings I do are general readings. I do have what I call the king and queen of all readings, which is the incarnation life purpose reading. So that reading is very extensive. I can do that for you. I use the Afro traditions as well as astrology in my readings. Let's see here. Oh, one other thing. Leslie asked, who rules your head? A lot of times, that comes from doing some spiritual work. I get so conflicted about whether or not I should do readings that help people know who rule their head, because I often think to myself, what are we going to do with it? Typically, if you know who rules your head, in Ifa, you're going to be doing some type of spiritual work with that energy. I found out Oshun Obatala ruled my head only to initiate into Yemanja. So that's part of my conflict with it. But there are a lot of priests and priestesses that will willingly tell you who rules your head. But I can tell you, if you know your rising sign, that will give you a lot of information. Your sun sign is Libra. Leslie, you need to work with Oshun. I mean, look at your sun sign. Your sun sign will tell you a lot about the Orisha you need to work with. Libra is going to be, Taurus and Libra is going to be Oshun. Tamaya, yes, thank you for saying that. Different levels, $30 for the full experience. She's one of my newest Patreon patrons in my inner circle. She went full in. Your Capricorn rising? Oh, yeah. I would say you're Oya. Aquarius, I don't know if I know Aquarius. Maybe Obatala. Wait a minute. Moon, sun, and rising. Woo, you're a real Libra, Jamie. Moon, sun, and rising. It's not often that I see people with all three. So yeah, you're for real, Libra. Cancer rising, Yemanja. To me, Cancer is very Yemanja. So yeah, this is one of the things that I think I bring that's unique and different to the table. It's Leo season, y'all. I've been bragging about myself all day. I love every second of it too. Leo is giving me this permission. But I mean, really and truly, when I looked at this course, I thought, this is what I am unique in the way that I share my wisdom. And so once I started looking at astrology, I was like, oh my God. So many times I can tell what someone's energy is, what Orisha they primarily work with, because it's in your chart. Virgo rising, that's Sebek, Alegua. Jamie, you're Oshun. Libra. And it's interesting because Libra is actually a masculine astrological sign, even though it's ruled by Venus. But, everybody knows Libras are freaking elegant. Just the most elegant people you could ever meet. Libras. Oh my God, they're so elegant. But yeah, Libra is ruled by Venus, which is Oshun. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Yeah. If people call me godmother, I receive it. I don't care if you make me your godmother, I'm not going to push back on it, but I'm not trying to be like, okay, I'm gonna be your godmother, because you want me to tell you one of the reasons I believe so much in your Ori. I believe in your power, your wonder, and your glory. You are me and I am you. And we are the great divine consciousness. And so, I don't mind being a guide, but ultimately you're going to take the reins on your own life. And I believe in that. And I want people to look to me for as much as they need to. And then I'm like, baby, fly, baby, fly, you know? I always have my gifts that people can fall back on. But ultimately, I believe in you. I believe in your power, your wonder, your glory, your gifts, your destiny. So, yeah. Okay, good. So, whoo, I feel good, y'all. Thank y'all so much for talking to me today. It's been a joy. And yeah, maybe I need to set a day for when I'll come on and do a live stream, because I really do like talking to y'all. Y'all are fun. So look, I'm in Tennessee. Who y'all think I'm around here talking to down in Tennessee like this? You. So I need y'all. So thank you so much. Love you all. And see you in the next video. Peace.